Hola, hoy vamos a tomar más apuntes sobre el presente del subjuntivo. I mentioned previously that escapa is kind of along the lines of an extension of weirdo, so an extension of what you've been doing all along. This is more detailed what we're doing today. It does bend the rules that you've been working with or break them a little bit. So be aware that this is completely a completely different set of rules from anything weirdo or escapa related. It may take a little bit more practice to feel more confident with it, and that's fine. And you also want to be aware that this does reintroduce el tiempo futuro, the future tense. So there are some notes included in here to help you remember how to form the future tense, how to conjugate verbs in the future, because that is a decent part of using conjunciones de tiempo, conjunctions of time, with the subjunctive. Okay? So follow along. Make sure you stop and pause and do all the activities and that you get done all of the examples. And if you have questions or are uncertain about something, please make sure to get my attention so that I can help clear up things where needed. Okay, vamos a empezar. So, las conjunciones de tiempo son tan pronto como, which means as soon as, hasta que, until, en cuanto, which is another way of saying as soon as, okay? Mientras, or mientras que, which means while. Cuando, when. And después de que, which means after, okay? La diferencia más grande y muy importante, okay? And this is the big change from what we've been doing in the past. No necesitas tener un cambio de sujeto para usar el subjuntivo. Las cláusulas pueden tener el mismo sujeto. So you do not need to have that change in subject that we have previously used in all sentences that require the subjunctive. Así, un ejemplo aquí, nosotros pintaremos tan pronto como podamos. We will paint as soon as we are able to, or as soon as we can. So you'll note that this second verb there, podamos, is the subjunctive of the verb poder, the present subjunctive of poder, and that the subject of both clauses is nosotros, okay? So what we need to do now is get really into the rules as to when and how we use el subjuntivo con cláusulas de conjunciones de tiempo, conjunctions of time, okay? Hay tres tipos de oraciones, okay? We are really going to focus mostly on the first one because this is the one that requires the usage of the subjunctive. And you're really going to see this mostly with the future tense plus a conjunction plus a subjunctive, at least as far as this class goes. You are going to see afterwards examples of the other types of sentences. It's really more of a for your reference at this point in time. You need to know about them, you need to be aware of them, but this is the main bit of information that you need to have here, okay? So, cuando la acción después de la conjunción no ha ocurrido. So, when the action that you see in the sentence, the verb in the sentence after that conjunction of time has not yet happened, okay? En la primera cláusula vas a usar el futuro o un mandato being a command, followed by the conjunción, followed by the subjuntivo en la segunda cláusula. Por ejemplo, tenemos los estudiantes saldrán tan pronto como laven los pinceles. The students will leave as soon as they wash the paintbrushes. Okay? Y nosotros escogeremos a un artista en cuanto tengamos la información para el proyecto. So we will choose an artist as soon as or when, depending on how you choose to interpret that, we have the information for the project. So you'll note that the subject of the first sentence is los estudiantes, and that sticks throughout. And the subject of the second sentence is nosotros, and that also sticks throughout, okay? And in the first clause, before the conjunction, you see the future tense being used, and then afterwards use the subjunctive, even though the subject stays the same, okay? Now, we're going to go on a little bit in a review of the future tense. A lot of the information that you're going to need is on página 2 of the del paquete, okay? So you need to be aware of a couple of things, okay? Para conjugar verbos regulares, no quites nada. You keep the infinitive of the verb, so you do not get rid of the AR, ER, IR. Y vas a añadir las terminaciones e, as, a, hemos, es, y an. It is absolutely necessary to have the accents on the required vowels. You'll notice on Página 2, there are several verbs with raíces irregulares, with irregular stems, okay? The middle of Página 2 of the notes packet. These verbs with the irregular stems use the exact same endings, las mismas terminaciones, as the verbs, as regular verbs. So keep that in mind, okay? Another way of forming the future tense, as you see on the bottom of Página 2, is ir a más el infinitivo, known as el futuro próximo. So you have a conjugation of ir in the present, más a, más el infinitivo del segundo verbo. So you present tense of ir to go is also given to you as an example at the bottom of Página 2. And you have an example in the notes packet at the top of Página 3. Nosotros vamos a pintar en clase tan pronto como aprendamos bien las reglas de VMCD. So we are going to paint in class as soon as we learn the rules of VMCD well. Once again, you do see that same subject in each clause as far as we go. So ahora pausa el video un minuto y completa las oraciones de las letras A, B y C con las conjugaciones apropiadas de los verbos en el futuro y el subjuntivo. Okay, so future first clause, subjunctive second clause. Cuando estén listos, deben seguir, deben continuar. ¿Sí? Oh, cuando estén listos, when you are ready. ¿Sí? Yay! I use the subjunctive with MCD. Woohoo! Okay, so más tipos de oraciones, and remember what you're going to see for the rest here is very much for your reference. There are a couple of practice activities you need to do, so keep that in mind as well, please, okay? But el segundo tipo de oración, cuando la acción después de la conjunción, sorry, that's a typo there. Cuando la acción después de la conjunción, it's a typo on the PowerPoint. It is not in your notes packet, a typo. Casi siempre ocurre, es una acción habitual, it's an habitual action. Vas a usar el presente del indicativo o presente regular en cada cláusula. So when it's something that is almost always done often, okay, on a regular basis, going on, still more or less now, you're going to use el presente del indicativo in both clauses, okay? So el ejemplo aquí, la clase juega a tarjetas o matamoscas cuando aprende vocabulario nuevo. So the class plays tarjetas, which is like the stand-up card game we've done a couple of times this year, or matamoscas when it learns new vocab, which pretty commonly does happen, at least matamoscas, when we learn new vocab, we do tend to do, okay? Así pausa, por favor, el video un minuto más y completa números A, B o letras A, B y C en las páginas 3 y 4. Y cuando estén listos, van a terminar con las actividades, ¿ok? So, el último tipo de oración, ¿ok? If we're talking about something that already happened, algo que ya ocurrió, vamos a usar los tiempos pasados según el contexto, the appropriate past tense, according to the context, el pretérito y el imperfecto. Tenemos aquí dos ejemplos que debes copiar. Picasso pintó Guernica después de que el ejército alemán bombardeó a la ciudad. Picasso painted Guernica after the German army bombarded or bombed the city. Y las pintoras pensaban en temas posibles hasta que una de ellas tuvo una idea phenomenal. The painters thought about possible themes until one of them had an awesome idea, phenomenal idea, okay? So once again, things that happened in the past, use the preterite and the imperfect according to context. I apologize for my dog running around in the background there and his collar jangling. Van a ver que al final de página 4, para su referencia, que for your reference, las reglas para conjugar los verbos regulares en el pretérito y en el imperfecto. So once again, that is for your reference, okay? Bueno, si hay preguntas, deben hacérmelas y gracias.